Hello and welcome to Horror Legend with your hosts,
Legend.
and Chris. Oh my gosh. We're back. It's a Disney movie today, so I can't say, oh my god. I say, oh my gosh.
I was like, either it was the English thing, and then I was like, no, it's Goofy.
Is it? Oh,
Gorsh.
yeah, gorsh.
Oh my god.
We watched a movie, and it was called The Watcher in the Woods.
Yes. Was the Watcher in the Woods. It came out in 1980. Exactly.
That's when I was born. I mean, 2000? I was born in 2000.
Give or take.
What you're talking about. Yes.
Give or take. It was directed by John Huff. I think that's how you say that?
John Hughes?
Or Hugh. H-O-U-G-H.
Hugh.
However you want to.
just one Hughes. It's not John Hughes, it's just one.
It's one Hugh.
It's one Hugh.
Singular Hugh.
Okay, gotcha.
Starring Bette Davis.
Who?
Well, yeah, who is that?
Never heard of her.
Never famous in film.
No.
Kyle Richards. For those who don't know, she was one of the originals in the original Halloween, little girl that Jamie Lee Curtis is babysitting. Also, Paris Hilton's aunt.
That's random.
I know.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm sure some people that listen to this have seen her in The Real Housewives of whatever.
I have not.
Yeah. Lynn Holly Johnson. I'm not entirely sure what else she's been in. She's not like a huge person. Carol. What?
Porn. I'm
It would be a good porn name. Carol Baker, who played mom. But yeah, Watcher in the Woods. It is Disney.
It is.
One of Disney's only, I guess, officially horror movies.
Horror? Question mark?
They put horror. They slap horror on this one, which is one of the reasons I wanted to do it, just to talk about different types of horror movies. Yeah. But it is still like a family horror movie because it is Disney. But it's family for the 80s, so it's still a little dark.
That's true too. That is true. Like horror, not horror movies. Kids movies in the 80s were a little bit dark,
which was
for some reason.
Which was so much better.
So
much better.
So much better. I feel like this movie had a personality crisis though, because it kind of went into like
it was like back and forth.
Other genres.
Oh yeah. I mean, fantasy was a big one.
Fantasy, sci-fi.
Sci-fi a little bit.
This went into sci-fi at the end. As I said, like American Horror Story.
And Mystery.
Asylum at the last second.
Oh yeah.
Just becomes sci-fi.
Science fiction. But yeah, we can get into it. I am the horror buff legend.
Oh, I didn't introduce myself. I am the horror weenie, Chris. Yeah.
Let's get into The Watcher in the Woods.
Bette Davis.
Bette Davis. And now Bette Davis eyes is going to be stuck in my head all night.
Yeah, me too. I prefer Bette Davis thighs.
Oh.
Betty's
and in this movie, Bette Davis tries.
She does try. Oh.
Talk about carrying.
How do you get Betty out of Bette? Because everyone else that has that name is Bette.
Bette Davis.
Midler.
Yeah.
I have an aunt named Bette. It was Aunt Bette.
Maybe it's where she's from?
Maybe.
Is she English?
No.
Right?
Is she? I don't think so.
Don't even know.
I highly doubt it.
Can look that up.
Maybe it was the stage. Maybe it was just the stage thing she picked. Like, oh, I want to pronounce this Betty. I don't know.
Boop, boop,
Maybe there was already a Betty.
Oh.
And so she had to spell it different. I don't know. SAG, the thing. I don't know. Oh, her name is actually Ruth Elizabeth Davis.
How do you get Betty out of Elizabeth?
Well, stage name. She just
or
picked,
Ruth.
She just picked Betty. I don't know.
It's like Sigourney.
She's from Lowell, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay, so she's not British. All right.
I kind of understand. I get her accent then. Okay,
yeah, a little bit.
I didn't know she was from Massachusetts. That makes sense.
So basically in this movie, a family moves to a country home in England. Dad's a composer, mom's a writer. The young girls their daughters experience strange happenings that have to deal with an occult event that happened. An occult event that happened years past. Sure. They just don't really get into the occult stuff so much.
No, because
other than the holding hands and the circle and the seance, they don't really get into the occult part of it.
I didn't quite get that because they were it's like some kids making up a secret society and having an initiation ritual, and it didn't make any sense beyond that.
They just ended up doing it on the eclipse, which I think affected it in a way they didn't think was going to happen because it was something they made up.
Yeah.
Because at the end, it's explaining that she got in the way of something traveling between dimensions.
Yeah.
During the eclipse.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It doesn't have to make sense, I guess, and it doesn't.
Not full sense.
No. You know what I loved about this movie was the hair, because there was...
The mom's hair was a character in
the
itself.
Hair. The mom's hair especially, yeah. It was just the tightest bun you've ever seen.
And it stayed the same until it got rained on.
Didn't
it stayed
move.
The same every single day.
Yeah, it just did not move. Glorious hair. And it had those two highlights on the front that swirled down, like bangs or something.
It was perfect.
Loved it. I just want to know, that was late 70s, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because the movie was 1980.
It's 1980.
But 1980 means it's still 77.
It's 70s style. Still. Yeah. That was the beginning of the 80s where women would dress like Puritans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was you'll watch Murder, She Wrote or something, and it's supposed to be some young girl who's popular or whatever, and she's dressed like a fucking Puritan. She has on a Victorian dress.
Yeah.
But it's 80s up a little
Showing
bit.
no skin.
So weird.
Just buttoned down, conservative.
It's such a weird thing.
Almost Amish.
Yeah. But I'm just wondering, who would look in the mirror with that hair and just be like, oh my god, I look so hot.
This is it.
This is it.
This is
the hair I need.
This is who she is.
I look fuckable as hell in this.
In this Puritan button down with this hair. I love the opening because it is it's the classic old opening that movies used to do where it's an hour of credits.
Yeah.
But I love the classic evil forest-looking fog and through the trees and the dead trees and the branches. Just very classic.
Yeah.
And the thing is about this movie, the way it's filmed, is they have horror elements and they do the thing, but the way it's filmed is very still if this was animated, it'd be a Disney fantasy.
That's exactly what I wrote down. I was it has horror movie tropes of filming from the killer's point of view. It's not a killer in this, but yeah, it's a POV thing. There's very
but it's almost
slasher movie stuff in it. But then it's mixed with pure Disney shots.
It's and even the slasher film elements, the POV and stuff like that, it's very fantastical version of it. Mm-hmm. It just feels very fantasy.
Yeah.
It feels like Snow White should come out of the forest at any moment.
Yeah.
And she's watching you. And she has a poison apple.
She was watching.
She was watching. And of course, because it is 1980, which still means it's the 70s, we still have that 70s version of acting that you talked about in one episode we did. Because it's very I'm on a stage, I'm over dramatic still, because it hasn't transitioned out of that yet into quote unquote normal acting.
Yeah. There's a lot of screamed lines, a lot of really loudly delivered lines.
This is my thing. Okay, so I read that Lynn Holly Johnson, who is the main girl in the movie, Jan.
Yeah.
And every time I heard it, I just kept going, sure, Jan.
I know, me too. Me too.
Was supposed to be Diane Lane, and I have a feeling Diane Lane would not be yelling constantly.
Probably not.
But she was yelling constantly.
Yelling constantly.
I mean, her mom's face is 2 inches from hers, and she's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What is happening? I'm just like, oh my god, please.
She was at that guy's house. standing on his porch and like just yelling.
She had...
We have to help her. We have to go.
Her energy was on the same notch every single time.
Yeah.
No matter what was happening. I mean, she'd be going to sleep with a book and she's like, good night! Like, it's just like insane.
I had to look up that book she was reading too.
The Green Light?
The Green Light. I looked at, because I was like, what is that book? It was like it's like a trashy romance novel. Dr. Joan Davidson had only one regret at the prospect of marrying Guy Hardman.
Jesus Christ.
She did not want to give up her practice. Even the tiring routine of daily surgery had its excitements, as a flash of green light brought the next patient in to see her. I'm not going to go on. It's
what green light?
I don't know.
But
insane. They did use like flashing lights a lot in this.
Sorry, could you say his name one more time?
Guy Hardman. Hardman. Guy Hardman.
I hate that so much, but also that it's such a good drag king name.
It is. It is. Guy Hardman.
Guy Hardman. Yeah. That is so good. Damn it.
Only 158 pages, mass market paperback. 1963.
Also, you've never wanted the return of a Karen to happen so badly.
Oh, I know, right?
Like,
that's a great name for like... I just love that her name was Karen.
Karen. And like it was just constantly Karen. Where's Karen? What happened to Karen? And I'm like, I don't know. She's yelling at a manager somewhere. Like, I don't know what you want from me.
I don't know.
She's in another dimension yelling at the manager.
Yelling at the manager. Get me out of this dimension right now.
I'm yelling at a manager. There was like, okay, so there's occasional things. So I do love the way the movie was filmed in certain areas. I will say there was a lot of dramatic zoom.
Yeah.
And this movie did come out the same year as The Shining. And they really used the hell out of that backwards red rum kind of writing.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
With the name Karen, which backwards became the kid. It became the puppy's name that they got.
Yeah.
Nacrin.
Nacrin.
Necrin.
I'm like trying to look at Karen backwards now. What is it?
It's Necrin. Oh no, Narek. Sorry,
Narek. Thank you.
I'm putting the K in the wrong place.
That's not right.
Putting the K in the wrong place. It's a
Narek,
which just sounds like a demon's name.
It does.
And
that would have been more interesting,
right? So Narek carried backwards, and then it flips to the mom, who's like, "Karen," and then she writes in the mirror something like, "Do it again." Or whatever.
Do again tomorrow,
but it's backwards, and then she sees it in the mirror, which was unnecessary because the mirror was right there. You could have just written it in the whatever.
That didn't make sense.
Yeah, anyway. I think it's because
it was so inane. What actually? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because the reason she's writing it reversed is because Karen's in the other dimension.
Yes.
But she's in the mirror, so she's writing it reversed.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But unnecessary. But other than the fast zooms, like there was the transition from when they're talking about the original incident in the church, which was the, them doing the initiation, lightning striking the church, it catching fire, they leave, Karen's gone.
Yeah.
But the mom is there freaking out of where her daughter is, and you see the fire, and then the fire transitions to Bette Davis's fire, and while she's talking, and it was a cool transition. Yeah. So it was like a couple of that transition, and then when they're at the carnival. And she ends up in the House of Mirrors, and she sees her in all of the mirrors.
Yeah,
those are really cool shots.
Oh no, it was good.
Those are amazing shots. Like if
that's like if
the whole movie was like
movie.
that.
Yeah, that's why that's the part of the movie I know because it was the iconic part that actually was well done.
The Funhouse Mirrors of seeing this girl asking for help with her hands out. She just sees copies of her everywhere.
Yeah,
it is kind of a neat effect. I mean, you can do it with computers, but it is a neat effect to like make it to where the person looking in the mirror's like reflection is just gone.
Yeah. It
was kind of cool. Dramatic zooms. Love it.
I just saw something else about how they did something in a movie. It's an older movie we watched where there's a girl running up the stairs, down a hallway, and goes to a medicine cabinet and grabs something.
We didn't watch that.
We didn't watch it? What was it?
It's Contact.
Oh, that's from Contact.
It's Contact. That's regarded as one of the craziest shots somebody's done in a movie.
It's insane.
Because, like...
Because it doesn't make sense.
She's running up the stairs and the camera's... She's going towards the camera as it's backing up, but then all of a sudden the whole thing has been a reflection in the medicine cabinet, and then she opens the medicine cabinet.
Because the medicine cabinet couldn't have been reflecting her while
Down
she was
the stairs.
downstairs. It's insane.
So it's a weird transition they do to make it to where then it becomes the reflection of the medicine
crazy.
cabinet. It's a cool shot.
That's a great
shot. It's an insane shot.
Katya's favorite movie.
Katya's favorite. For those who don't know, we're Trixie and Katya. The drag queens.
Oh, they all know.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this,
you probably know about it.
You know.
And at some point, we meet who...
Speaking of drag queens.
Right. I mean, we don't even get really like a story of her having like a love interest. Mike just kind of shows up and is that person's son, and then they're just like, we're into each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the British twink, of course.
Yeah.
A little problematic there, Mike, when you tell her sister to go ahead on the horse to see if there's any Indians on the path, but...
Oh, she's... Yeah.
We'll let it slide for 1980.
Yeah, he said like, see if this path is clear of Indians. And I was like, wow. She should have turned to him and just been like, wow.
What's funny about that to me is like, if they're in England...
That's true.
What Native Americans?
Well, she was American.
That's true.
So maybe he was referencing...
So we'll let it slide for British not understanding in 1980.
That is true. British people are fairly clueless about that.
And I'm sorry, was their house just not one big antique shop?
It was. It was full of bric-a-brac. It was full of knickknacks.
Not the bric-a-brac.
And tchotchkes. And then they brought in... the ugliest mirror, like the tackiest mirror. That was the only thing they brought in.
I just want to point out
was that mirror.
That's the only furniture they ever show them being theirs, because the house already is furnished.
Yeah,
they're like, get the mirror.
We have to bring that
them
ugly ass gold painted Cupid mirror. We've got to bring that.
Oh my god!
Very important. That was Grandma's when she was a prostitute. And she used to get ready in that mirror.
Jesus.
We
have to bring that in.
We have to bring that. Too bad it wasn't like the Oculus mirror or something, you know?
Oh my god. I mean, she stopped seeing her reflection.
That's true. Yeah.
And it cracked.
That's true.
Showing the dead girl and then broke itself. So it knew it was ugly and wanted to be out of this world.
Yeah. I love Bette Davis. Well, that was the highlight for me, is Betty.
Bette Davis is the highlight of the movie.
She's just amazing. She was kind of like it's kind of like my future or like my drag character, Rosie, you know? She was very much that.
It's that plus that woman from Nosferatu who's rubbing garlic on the windows.
Yep.
You're going to have that cottage in England.
I hope so.
Windows covered in garlic.
I dearly hope so.
So good. The forest shots in it are very... Like, we have the zooms and stuff that are very The Shining. And Evil Dead didn't come out until like a year after this. But the forest shots are very Evil Dead. The following around, the following whatever. And I don't know if maybe Sam Raimi took a little bit of inspiration from it or not, but...
who knows?
It's
a strange duck.
Yeah. It's a very cool... I don't know if you call it a trope, but it's just a cool way to film inside of a forest when you're like just from the POV of just like going.
I'd say it's a trope. I mean, it's kind of like a horror movie trope.
It is a little bit of a horror movie trope. Yeah. I just got it felt very Evil Dead, even though that movie wouldn't come out until a little bit later.
Yeah. I was waiting for since there were those horror trope like camera moves and stuff, and things like that. I just kept waiting for something. You know, like the dog. We just got a dog, and then now it's dead. You know? Like I was expecting. I knew it wasn't going to happen because it's Disney, but like I kept wanting it.
You kept wanting the puppy to die.
I was hoping they'd find the dog dead, and then.
Jesus.
or that girl when she chased the dog into the road. I was expecting Pet Sematary moment where she gets hit by a car or truck or something.
Oh yeah. Well, and the horse going into the road almost gets hit by a truck.
Yeah.
Like Pet Sematary style.
Yeah. A lorry. It's a lorry.
It's a lorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost hit by the lorry. They didn't actually get to because the bridge ended up getting struck by lightning before they could leave the house, like leave the area.
Yeah.
But I wrote the joke because they were just packing up and leaving. I was like, wow, privilege really is just getting to leave your creepy house whenever you want.
Yeah.
Because most people are like, it's wrapped up in the bank. What are we supposed to do? Like, I don't have the money to move.
Yeah. They picked like the best time to leave too, when it was just zero visibility from the rain.
Zero visibility, rain, lightning,
great time,
high winds.
Yeah, they're like, we have to leave right now.
A very old wooden bridge.
Yeah. I feel like that's something you could have waited until morning.
Right.
Because there was nothing major happening. It wasn't like The Conjuring or something. Like,
no.
There was nothing major happening.
It wasn't something crazy going on to the point that like you're on a time limit.
Right.
To get the hell out of there.
It's just like, go back to the house. If you don't sleep, whatever, hang out, read a book.
Right.
Wait till the rain stops. You know, the sun's up. Yeah. Bette Davis will still be standing outside with her sour face.
Waiting for her daughter to come home.
I love her face in this whole thing. It's just so sour. So, like... I loved it.
They get to the... So I love the way the old church looks, because, it's a place I would go to take pictures, because it's just creepy and cool. But
yeah, I did like that, actually.
When you look at a coffin at a church and you see a ghost of a girl blindfolded, maybe a bigger reaction. And not just... Whoa, and then I close my eyes, and I open them, and she's gone.
Yeah.
And then she didn't even have a big reaction to the bird till the bird flew out of the coffin and smacked her in the face.
Smacked her right in the face.
And it's like the second time. It's like the bird smacks her in the face.
Oh, yeah.
She goes to see one of the guys from the original seance ceremony, and a cat jumps at her face, and she doesn't react to it. The cat's like right on top of her face. Like the cat literally just attacks her. Yeah. And it's tied to a rope.
Yeah. And
he's like, I collect animals that are hurt.
And dead animals.
And dead animals.
That are hanging from the ceiling. That was probably the scariest thing in the movie, was that guy, like, with...
The hermit with the animals.
Dead animals hanging from the ceiling. I'm like, okay.
Because we have him, the woman who was part of it, and then we have the guy, Keller, who was, like, seemed to be the main person in the group, who was, like, in charge of the group and the secret society that he wanted to make as a kid.
Yeah.
Apparently his house was used in the original Haunting of Hill House adaptation, The Haunting.
Oh.
It was that house that was used. I've never actually seen it only, but I think that house has also been used in a lot of other stuff. Just seems like one of those houses.
I liked when young Bette Davis was running around outside when the chapel was on fire. And it was just really funny because she was just calling names.
Yeah.
She's like, Mary, John, Tom, Colin.
She's like, Tom, Conway.
Karen.
Karen.
It was just great.
Karen.
The funny thing about this ghost or this entity is, like, it's especially not scary because it's just helping them the whole time.
Trying to, at least.
Yeah, it's like trying to help them. It's not even like trying to scare them. It's trying to help them.
It's trying to direct. It's trying to help them, and it's also trying to direct them.
Yeah, to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
So keeping them alive so they can do what they need to do.
Well, obviously it's doing whatever it can to keep them there, since it does destroy the bridge before they can leave, but in their car. But I think it's just because it's like, it's misinterpretation by humans of like, this is scary, something's crazy, but then it's like, now you realize like, oh no, it's actually just trying to protect me or help me.
Yeah.
Which I know has been used in a bunch of other paranormal
true.
movies and stuff. That's where it's like, I'm trying to protect you and help you and all that.
My alien guardian angel.
My guardian angel.
That twink is a terrible actor. Oh
my god. Okay. I don't know how somebody can have like the most... I don't know. Occasionally it was like, oh, there was some emotional inflection in his voice, but have still the most uninterested look on his face.
Yeah.
He was not interested in anything that was
He did
happening.
not care.
He did not give a shit.
He didn't even care too much at the end when there was like major shit happening.
I know. He was just standing there.
He was like, "Oh no!"
It just seemed like he would be standing there and have his hands in his pockets while all the shit was going on.
And then he like tried to grab their arm, break the circle, no, and then he couldn't do it. So he's like, "Oh well."
It's just like,
it's fine.
And then he finally jumps on her, but I was like, I only hear your voice raised up a little bit. Otherwise, it is the most monotone, with the least expression on your face possible, of just like, why are we here?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
when it like flashback to
Good thing he was cute.
I know, right? When it flashed back to when they were doing the ceremony the first time, I thought they were like kids. Like at first, I was like, oh, they're like they were like teenagers though.
Oh yeah,
I was like, oh.
Like I would say, yeah, young teens.
Yeah.
Probably 14, 15.
I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess they live in a small town in England. There's probably not much to do. Makes sense.
Not much to do except make a secret society and do a seance and get your friend transported to another dimension.
Yeah. I wonder if they tipped cows. Is that an American thing?
I don't think it was just an American thing.
Probably not. I mean, I don't know if
how
people
many
actually
pastures
even do
and
that.
cows
do
in
people
England
actually even do that?
I think they, used to probably whenever there was really nothing
there's
better
not
to
much
do.
else to
Like
do.
in
Poor
Nebraska.
I mean, as long as the cows aren't hurt. Maybe the cows thought it was fun. Then that's kind of fun.
Like baby.
You know, they're like, whoa.
I mean, they just push them on. They're just pushing them on their side. I mean, at least they're not like rolling them over.
That's true. They're really heavy though, so maybe it hurts.
Probably took like 3 or 4 of them to push it over.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We're so off topic on this.
This
is probably the fewest amount of notes I've ever written.
Because we've done episodes where I've had less notes, but like I even still have more stuff to talk about than that.
I usually have like 4 pages of stuff.
One thing I can say is, for some reason, I don't know why, Disney seems intent on burying this movie.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's like not on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's not streaming anywhere.
You can't find it anywhere.
You can't find it anywhere. My mom literally found a DVD of it to buy, and a normal DVD, because the Blu-ray, because of how rare it is, was $70.
Damn.
On eBay, because somebody's like, I'm gonna capitalize on this shit.
Yeah.
But then she found like a $7 DVD that she was like, we'll just get that. And I was like, yeah, I don't need a Blu-ray of this movie. Like, I think it's fine. Like, it was made in the 1980s.
Yeah. It's
gonna be weird quality anyway. Who cares? They did do a remake of this movie with Angelica Houston as Betty Davis' character, which you can watch. And the guy who does play Mike, who we were just talking shit about, the British twink guy, actually comes back to play one of the main characters in it, John Keller.
Okay.
But yeah, you can watch the remake of it on Disney Plus, but this version, they're trying to bury in a hole somewhere.
See, that's why this is the best episode ever. We're giving you a movie you can't possibly watch.
Yes.
And
exclusive.
It's an exclusive.
Exclusive. But you can compare it to the remake just based off our notes.
Truly. True. Just picture Bette Davis instead of Angelica Houston.
Betty Davis with a blowback.
With a fully slicked back hair. It is so weird looking on her.
Oh my god.
That poor woman having to have that hair. I mean, it's not as bad as Baby Jane, but it was really bad hair.
The other thing I can say on that too is this movie actually had apparently 3 different endings. So the ending you get in this one is basically just that Karen gets brought back.
The Disney ending.
Yeah, Disney ending.
Great now.
Yeah, Kyle Richards, who plays the little sister, keeps getting like taken over by this thing to talk through her, and it's basically explaining that when they were doing the ritual, it interrupted its traveling in between dimensions, and so it got stuck in this world, in another planet.
So it is an alien.
Yeah. So that's why she got taken out, and it got replaced with her. And then they ended up bringing her back, and everything's fine. It's Bette Davis' daughter. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
The original, I don't know what the second ending was that they did. I know that there was another ending, but the original ending of the movie, you actually get to see the creature.
Look it up. It's
really creepy.
It is kind of creepy.
It's like this whole skeleton bones thing with
like a
Mothman situation.
Yeah.
But it picks up Jan at the end and then disappears with her into another dimension. And I don't know whatever happens to Karen or what happens to Jan. All I know is you actually get to see the monster like hug her and hold her and then disappear with her or something like that.
See, that would have been good.
Yeah. They cut it out. You have to look up the Watcher in the Woods creature and you'll be able to find it. But I think pretty sure they cut it out because they probably didn't test very well with children. Probably was too creepy for children. It also wasn't, I don't think if they went with this other ending, it probably wasn't that happy of an ending.
No.
If she's getting taken away.
Yeah, no.
So, and that's not Disney.
It isn't.
It's not Disney to not have at least a little bit of it. Tie it up in a bow, as whatever director said. Tie it up in a bow.
Steven Spielberg.
Said Steven Spielberg ties it up in a bow.
Yeah, tie it up in a bow.
Tie it up in a bow. But yeah, so there was multiple endings to this one as well. But yeah, try to find it. I mean, you might be able to find a cheap copy somewhere. Otherwise, just watch that remake. You can compare notes to it because I've never seen the remake.
I mean, I do love Angelica Houston.
That's the only reason I might watch it.
Yeah, right? Because, I mean, Her and the Witches was so good.
Yeah.
And that was a good movie.
I feel like the concept of this movie is really good.
Yeah.
It's really creepy. Yeah. It's really good. The whole, like, children doing a seance, and accidentally opening a doorway to something is kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
In an old church with the eclipse and whatever. It's very occult, whatever. Like movie occult.
Yeah.
Not like real occult
yeah,
stuff.
well,
But I feel like if you actually were to hire a good enough director now, maybe a Robert Eggers or something, to like remake a movie like this and actually have it rewritten.
If he remade it and it was like actually creepy, I would love to see
that. And what would be cool about him is he would keep it in the 70s because he doesn't like making movies with people with smartphones and shit. Yeah, he said he hates it. Like, he literally hates it. So it's like I know he would keep it an older movie, style movie. And I feel like he could do it well if you had somebody like rewrite a bunch of it and just like make it more cohesive and like add more of the characters to it and things like that. Like I feel like it could actually be a very good movie.
Yeah, Disney's not going to let it.
No, they're not going to let it. I mean, they're trying to bury this one for some reason. Apparently, they just want Bette Davis to disappear off the world.
I mean, Disney had. Oh, I feel like this is the only Disney movie that has a fiery car crash in it too. Which was clearly a toy car.
Yeah, clearly a model.
It was like a car with like the underside of the car was completely flat plastic.
Fantastic.
Hilarious.
Still amazing.
Yeah. Disney did do a few live action things that were honestly creepier than this, and they weren't even meant to be.
No.
Like that dragon one, Pete's Dragon.
I
grew up with that one. No, old. In that time period, they did a few live action ones that were weird,
crazy,
really crazy. Yeah. And then the movie that I confused this with, which was before this, by the same director, Escape from Witch Mountain, which is also with Bette Davis. I totally confused these two movies.
They did a remake of that movie too.
Yeah,
with The Rock.
Really?
Pretty sure it was The Rock.
Ugh.
Escape from Witch Mountain. Same director actually is this one. The guy also did The Legend of Hell House, which was a good 70s horror movie.
Okay.
So I think I read that that's why they brought him in to do this, is because a Disney executive saw that movie and liked it and wanted him to do this one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
I feel like the directing's not bad. I just feel like the writing and the acting could use a little punch up.
Yeah. I mean,
some of those transitions. The one you brought up while we were watching, it was like, it's showing the eclipse, and then immediately cuts to, wow, what the
this guy yelling at her. It was so
yelling at her face.
It was the most abrupt cut I've ever seen. It was like, it seemed like a mistake to me. I'm like,
it probably not a mistake, but it was probably like they had a shot that was supposed to go there that they couldn't get down, so they just had to cut it.
That's how I feel it was.
Because there were some fast cuts like that, so that was like, all right, I guess we're doing this now.
I love, I just love hearing Bette Davis's voice. It's just, she has like a weird accent that just, she always speaks a weird way.
Yeah.
Like it's like, where are you going? Like, it just has this like, where are you going?
What's funny is I genuinely think this is the only movie I've ever seen with her in it.
What?
I've seen like clips of her movies and stuff, but I don't think I've ever actually sat down and watched a Bette Davis movie.
I've seen quite a few of her movies.
Of course.
I love the one where I forget.
Like I've seen clips from Baby Jane, but I've never seen Baby Jane.
Oh, Baby Jane's great.
I've seen clips of other movies she's been in when she was younger.
All
like
About Eve is really good.
Yeah. I've never fully watched one.
I can't remember the name of it, but I love it. It's where she has an identical twin. And I can't remember that one.
The Parent Trap.
No. But that one's really good. And guys, she has a lot now. Voyager. She has so many good movies. I really love her actually.
But it's like Marilyn Monroe. Like I've only seen one of her movies.
I haven't really. Well, she's in. We just said the name of it. Jesus Christ. She's in one of those that we just said the name of.
She's not a Baby Jane.
All About Eve.
Oh, she's in All
About Eve.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she is.
The only one I've seen of hers is Some Like It Hot. So
I haven't seen that. I don't think I've seen.
I think you would like Some Like It Hot.
I'm sure I would.
It's very good.
Is that the one with the cross dressing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original white chicks.
Just the original white chicks. Yes, Marilyn Monroe is in All About Eve. I thought so. Okay. And Anne Baxter. Anyway.
But yeah, I feel like this is like Disney's only like official horror film.
Yeah.
Because like most of the times we get creepy stuff with Disney, it's like unintentional.
Yeah.
Or it's a part of a movie that doesn't have horror themes throughout it. It's just this part is creepy because it's the villain or something.
Yeah, yeah.
This one I think was intentionally supposed to be like a family horror film. Emphasis on family because it's not like it's not really that scary.
No.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's not really that scary. And I would classify it more as like a thriller than a horror.
I feel like
it's like a family thriller.
It's a strange thing to want to make a family horror movie.
Right?
Doesn't make sense.
A family mystery movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mystery.
And this one feels like mystery.
Even family thriller is weird to me.
Yeah, right?
It doesn't make sense.
Like this looks like if Hitchcock made a family movie. Like that'd
be hilarious.
Right? Actually, he had a quote referencing Disney at some point. It was something like, "Oh, he said I'm a typed director. If I directed Cinderella, people would be looking for a body in the stagecoach." Like something like what he said.
It's true.
Just true. But like I was getting that vibe of like this feels like an old Hitchcock movie thriller, but it's a family movie. And I was like, Hitchcock presents family. Like,
Bette Davis.
Bette Davis.
The Fantasy Island of Dr. Moreau. It's a Fantasy Island Dr. Moreau mashup.
We get it pretty fast in the movie too. Like I just love that it's called The Watcher in the Woods, which is a really good name for a movie, but it's also just like right at the top. I just feel like there's something in the woods watching me.
I feel like there's a watcher.
There's a watcher
in the woods.
In these woods. I don't know why I said that like William Shatner.
He's what was missing.
He's what was missing from the movie.
I feel like there's a watcher
in the woods.
The woods. That'd be great.
And a fiddler on the roof. Man. Okay. So I will say this is not one of our longer episodes.
It is not.
If you ever get a chance to watch this movie, or if you ever get a chance to maybe ask your parents about this movie because maybe they watched it when they were younger.
Great.
Let us know. Let us know if you ever get a chance to watch this movie. Since Disney is trying to bury it and get rid of every copy of it.
It's so weird. How dare they? Anyway, what do I give this? God, I don't know. Okay, I want to go low, but then at the same time, it's a solid idea.
It's a solid concept.
And Bette Davis. So
it may not have like always been executed properly, but I don't think it was a terrible movie.
No. And I thought Bette Davis was brilliant in it, honestly, which is funny. I thought she was really good.
You don't talk about carrying.
She carried the movie. She really did.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm gonna give it at least 3. I'm trying to think of something from the movie to give it 3. eclipses.
3 eclipses.
Sure.
I'm gonna give it 3 Karens in another dimension yelling at the manager at Starbucks.
3 blindfolded Karens.
3 blindfolded Karens.
So we agreed on the rating on this one. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not terrible.
No.
It's kind of just okay.
Yeah.
Especially for like a 1980s Disney quote unquote horror movie.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if I saw this when I was
Younger,
a kid, maybe I would be like a little bit more.
See, I liked it when I was a kid, but it's because I'm a kid. It feels a little more like whimsical,
Exactly.
fantasy, whatever.
Exactly.
Like when you get older, you're obviously noticing a lot more stuff in it and the mistakes or like the weird stuff in it. But like when you're a kid and you're watching this, which my mom showed us when I was little, you just kind of get lost in it a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah,
which I think was the point.
That was the point.
It's Disney.
Yeah. But it doesn't hold up like other movies from that time.
No, I mean it came out the same year as The Shining.
Yeah, or even other. Like,
this one obviously did better than The Shining.
It's obviously better than The Shining. Come on,
this one obviously influenced horror more than The Shining.
I mean. What is his name? Kubrick?
Yeah, Kubrick.
I don't know who the hell that is. Anyway.
God.
Yeah, I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah, we would have done a Valentine's Day horror movie, but,
we didn't feel like it.
Fuck your love.
We did not feel like it. Might we do it next time? Maybe.
Possibly. Like, the other option for today was possibly My Bloody Valentine, which did get released, I think, today.
It got released today, which is hilarious. We never do things when we should.
No.
And I think it's just because...
I just didn't want to celebrate some Hallmark
contrarians.
bullshit, even if it is people getting murdered. We are contrary. We go against the grain.
Yeah.
Here on Horror Legend. We are the trendsetters. We're the music makers. We're the...
we don't do things that are marketable.
I was trying to remember that dumb quote. We are the music makers.
We are the dreamers.
We are the dreamers of dreams.
Dreamers of dreams, yeah.
Isn't that Willy Wonka?
It is Willy Wonka, yeah.
I just
but
remember
they use it in many things.
I just remember because it's on like American Dad when Stan's like, "Why did you do this?" And Roger's like, "We're the music makers, the dreamer of dreams." He's like, "That is an unsatisfying answer."
It very much is. It very much is.
But thank you for listening. I know this was not a long episode. If you ever get a chance to see the movie, let us know. Let us know your opinion on it. Please leave us comments. Ask us questions. Subscribe. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Like, we do this for fun. It is fun.
Yeah.
And regardless of views and all that, we're still going to probably keep it going. So
yeah.
Because we just like to do it.
I just like to do
I just like that.
Watch some Bette Davis movies.
Watch some Bette Davis movies. That is a note for myself.
Watch some good Bette Davis movies.
Watch Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe.
I will do that. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.